Let's talk about facts when I say that I've been here a while. Walk in my shoes, I can tell you, you won't make a mile. I am the judge and the jury, so put them on trial. Murder is foul, allow me to teach a new theory, the purpose is vile. There's no coming back, so you can eat shit with a smile. I've been in the game, ran up the bag, just to put it in the pile. Create the frame, bought up the land, now we...
For the Record podcast, we are finally here. You know, we started this idea probably 6 or 7 months ago, branching it off from the magazine, Compulsive Magazine, where we've been doing For the Record, the actual column. And Joe and I, you know, we sat down and we said, who do we want to talk to first? And I've been watching these guys for a while now. First of all, this guy, Prestige.
Oh boy.
The man behind the board. I've seen this guy go from internet radio to regular radio to podcasting. I've seen him grow, be better than the actual person who's hosting the show. And I said, you know what? I've always said that to him, that when we do something, Joe, I said, I want to work with Preston. However it is, whether we get him on a show, whether we just put him behind the board, whatever we do.
Right.
Just so happens, you and I are here, we got him. And he's got his partner, who is Easy Blue. I can't do it as good as he does it on his show.
If you want to do the introduction,
I can't do it as good as he does it on his show. There's not enough energy.
I haven't seen it done like that yet.
There's not enough energy. I've watched a bunch of their shows. There's so much energy. A couple times, and I was actually on their show.
Yeah.
I had to turn my everything down because I was like, he's too hype. He's way up here.
Yo, let me tell
and
you
it was
something.
the morning time.
Let me tell you something. When I first went to do a little research and shit, right?
Yes, sir.
I must have watched like the intro to every fucking show before I watched the show. I'm like, yo, does he do this every show?
Every show.
It was like, and now. I was like, yo, listen. I was watching WWE.
Coming to the
I was like, yo, Uncle Buff, I got a little brother here.
Exactly.
But the intro is great, man.
Appreciate that, man.
And it's not just the intro; it's the music. You know, I went down the rabbit hole with your music for a while. You know, and it's all amazing. You know, I
appreciate that.
When it comes to music, I'm a big lyric guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also a guy who taps into like voices. Like I study voices. Like I'm a huge Chris Cornell fan. You know what I mean? I think was one of the best, probably still is one of the best voices in the game, period. When I listen to you and I listen to your music, it took me down a path of like one of my favorites, personal favorites, Jim Morrison, Doors. And I was like, something about this gives me that vibe. And I was like, I was blown away. And I reached out to you the other day. I was in the car and it was just like, you know, when you listen to something and you forget that what you're listening to because it's so good, it's just there. It's just, you just vibe into it. And that's where I got with his music. And I just thought it was amazing. So, I mean, Behind the Brand.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
First episode.
Wow.
First episode. It don't get no better than this.
Don't get no better than this, man.
I mean, a lot of this is about marketing and branding and being informative, you know what I mean? And we figured the best way to go, the best way to start out is let's start behind the brand. Right. You know what I mean? Let's push forward with the guys that are definitely doing their thing with enlightening people with what's going on in this marketing and media world right now. You know what I mean?
Now, for you, not to cut you off, for you, Press, what made you hop from where you were at to say, I want to build my own with my brother over here? Like, how did you even get into that?
Honestly, I was unhappy.
That's clear.
I was incredibly unhappy where I was at. It's kind of like if you stay at your mom and your dad's house for a very long time,
right.
And like you can't have all these rules, can't have no guests, everything's micromanaged, and
Can't let you bring any girls in the studio.
Yeah, and it's just like
That's what it is.
No, but like, don't get me wrong. I wish everybody at Ugly Radio the best success possible. I would not be.
Oh, we was talking about Ugly Radio.
We didn't even get to the drama.
Yo, we was talking about
drama. We should have started off
let's
with
just
the
dive
drama.
right
This
in,
is
yo. Let's go.
like
right
honestly,
into it.
honestly, this is not drama. This is not drama.
it's
This
all
is not
good.
drama. I know it's all good. I know it's all jokey jokes, but I really wish all those guys well. Like when I first saw Caleb, like I thought he was the most intelligent person I ever fucking met in my whole entire life.
Right.
And I just wish all those guys well. I wish Kotick well too, man.
Kotick's my man. Kotick's my brother, man.
Kotick backed me up so much when I was over there. So like I wish Kotick the best ever. But just what started me there, man, I just felt I was back down in like a little hole, and I just wanted to get out. And this whole Behind the Brand thing, I'm happy you guys gave us this great intro, but it was pretty much just like a last minute idea. You know, producer just called me like last minute, who was the head of the station that we're doing the morning show at. He was like, yo, if you're interested, give me a call.
And you know what?
So I was like, all right. And I did it. It was really last minute.
I kind of think that when you're 100 with people, when you're real with people, and you know, you're on time, you're there, you're respectful, people tend to just want to reach out to you and want to, you know, help you do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just succeed, period. Yeah. And that's kind of, when I met you, that's kind of how I felt.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I love everybody down there at the station and everything, but I just felt that you were always genuine. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like forced or anything like that. So you felt trapped. It's okay.
Let's
He didn't want to say it. He started. It was a little serious.
I'm a little trapped. You wasn't as long as you wasn't in the closet, bro. You're good. Yo, no, we good. No, so let's go back a little bit.
Yeah, let's go back.
As separate entities, you two are both powerful, man. I see what you both are capable of, what you both can do. Let's start with, where did Prestige and Easy meet?
You want to do it, or you want me to be all sorts of colorful and ridiculous with it?
You know what? I always give this story. You can be colorful
Light it up.
and ridiculous.
Right. So, at the end of the day, being creatives, you at some point have to facilitate your art by working a job you hate. So, I'd actually done some research, moved out here to New Haven, and was looking for employment, and we wound up working together
from Long Island. Shout out to Long Island.
From Long Island. Also spent some time in Georgia with the military.
R.I.P. my brother Bismarcky. I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate that.
Let's go.
So we wound up working for a chain restaurant. Worked there together. And one of the first times we had missed the bus to come to be able to get home, we had to walk about 45 minutes to an hour. And what the coolest moment was, in the walking aspect, Prestige. Well, no, he started interviewing me.
Oh, okay.
Like fully interviewing me and like really trying to get to know the person, you know, behind just the person you're working with.
And you didn't know each other?
With no clue. We had
just randomly.
And
you partaked in.
Yeah.
I couldn't throw him off.
Yeah, all right.
This story.
Oh no. Again, former military, and I've been performing for a while. So we were sitting there and you know, really getting to know each other and understanding, you know, that one, it was really funny at work because we have similar vocal tones. So some people would think like Prestige was calling for a line call when it was really me calling for a line call, and the different aspects. So we started to be interchangeable. And what's really amazing is there's been times, because I like to be a calm human being. In that environment, it's not necessarily a calm aspect. I lost my cool a whole bunch of times. And every time that I lost my cool, there was Prestige there. Like, hey, you just need to breathe.
Yeah.
We don't need you to lose your mind right now. At one point in which I'd actually said, I joined this job of man, I'm gonna leave this job of man. So you might as well just call the police right now because I'm gonna go to jail. Which was dumb, it was stupid, but I was angry. And from those points, there was such a respect that we built up. And then I'd gotten hit up by Project 9 Line to do Vet Stock, which is all veterans run, all veterans performance aspect. And I was just a singer-songwriter doing acoustic stuff. I'm a horrible guitar player. I am not a good guitar player at all. I just learned how to play guitar to write the lyrics that were in my head. So we were going and doing that, and then jumping back to Long Island, and I was like, hey, come out, let's have an adventure. I'm a big fan of having as many adventures as possible. Right. Like, life should be that adventure aspect. And from there, we continued to bond, and then when Prestige was doing the show with Marshall Cruz and Reese, anytime that they didn't have a guest or a guest would cancel at the last minute, I said I was the Steve Martin of his show. He called me, I was like, yo, can you be down here? I was like, I'm walking right now. I got my shoes on. We're already there. And because...
halfway there,
like, yeah. And I love that type of aspect. Like, I've been a performer since I was like 3.
Okay.
And, whether it's to negate from a negative that's going on in a situation or going on in a household dynamic, or it's to make money, which was a much more for a household dynamic than making money because I'm broke. But, it really was that type of thing. So anytime I had the opportunity to shine in that aspect, I was going to do that. Right. It's more who I am. I tell people all the time, if you really want to get to know me, see me play live. Yeah. Anything else, it's who I think you need at that moment.
I kind of felt that. I kind of felt that through like listening to your songs. I mean, the songs are, I like to call them layers.
Mm-hmm.
Like you peel them back, and there's different moods in all the different music.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it had messages in it, but you had to find all those little hidden things, those little hidden gems. But I mean, the music was, there was some good stuff, some fun stuff, some deep stuff. It seemed like the layers of happiness, the layers of pain. It was just again multi-layered with everything that you did. Now it's your full band.
Yes, Shane Penguin.
Shane Penguin.
Available on virtualmerchbooth.com. Feel free to get your Shane Penguin hats on there.
Shameless plug.
Yes.
He's just going to do it.
Hey, I'm going to jump right in there. Again,
no problem.
Well, and that's the other, you guys talked about the intro and stuff like that. Really, the roots behind all of it is, and I'm gonna call us out on this. Prestige and I are huge pro wrestling fans.
Yes, sir.
We're huge pro wrestling fans. And like, I have noticed with marketing and with branding and everything like that, pro wrestling has it right. Because if you really want to get your character over, it needs to be you turned up to 11.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be real. I quote Bob Dylan all the time on the show. If you're going to be an outlaw, you have to be honest. And being a creative, we are outlaws. We are talking about, some taboos. We are talking about things, pain that we're not supposed to talk about because we're dudes, or we're not supposed to talk about because, we're dealing with one side of the social structure and not the other side of the social structure.
Gotcha.
So, I'm not, in the stuff that I write about, unless I've lived it, I'm not going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's similar to like what
that's
we do
for
on
the record. For the record, that's for the record, brother. That's what it's about. That's for the record. That's for the record.
So I feel like you guys would be the Dudleys.
Yeah, well, we still. In fact, there is a rumor that for the Halloween episode this year, we are supposed to dress up as the Dudleys.
I noticed that Preston likes to dress up like Robin. I'm just trying to figure out whether he's Tim Drake.
Oh, he's the Red Hood. Let's be real.
Whether he's Jason Todd, which Robin, or are you classic Robin? I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but he dresses up as Robin often.
Maybe. What's up with the? All right, so that's good. You got something?
So we saw the photo.
I'm just saying. I mean, in case
it sounds like it's one. What's going on?
I was just wondering which one he was.
Just one or more?
There's one photo, but I had to exaggerate it.
Let me help you out. Is it because of Comic-Con?
Actually, it wasn't because of Comic-Con, but I like that. I love your transitions, by the way. I'm a fan. I like how you plugged you and you did the whole thing with Easy. That was really cool.
It was Saturday night.
But I say more Tim Drake.
Okay.
When it came to Robin, it was actually that photo you saw online. It was a Halloween party. It was actually a graduation party at broadcasting school. I was at 2013. And I found the cheapest costume at Party City. It was like $10 because I really wanted to be Batman, but Batman was like $75.
Came a little short.
And then Robin was like $10. So I just took the Robin costume and put it on.
Batman was busy working, bro. Go ahead. You got to. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
That's crazy. Nah, that's crazy, man.
Man. Yeah.
From and I noticed that you guys were WWE or whatever you want to call it, just wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Completely. You guys seen Elimination Chamber?
No, actually,
Nah.
we did not. It has become a little passe
Yeah.
and very predictable. With any type of art, and I do look at professional wrestling as an art form, with any type of art, there has to be risk. And if that risk is not there, then the artists really aren't being artists. You know, and you see that a lot with music. You see that a lot with, you know, some of, like, say, the boy bands and different things like that, where they are structured and they are marketed to hit a certain demographic. I do not pour salt in anyone's hustle. That is their hustle. They're doing what they need to do. They're paying their family. Everything's doing what's necessary. But to me, coming from the punk rock aspect, coming from the Doors aspect, thank you so much, by the way. Like, Jim Morrison's actually one. Not as a human being, because he was absolutely a garbage human being, but Jim Morrison as a lyricist and as a performer, I really, really understood.
Next level.
Yeah, so next level. Garbage human being. Do not invest in him as a human. But hey, rock out to his music. You know, that's really the way that you need to move through. For me, you know, there has to be that genuineness. There has to be that aspect, and that's why, like, even with professional wrestling, you see now, like, with the different aspects that go through, like with an AEW or some of the other things that are more underground. And it's similar to music. You know, some of the best, I remember sitting with Joe in City Hall, and they were talking about music and different things about different events going on in New Haven. And, you know, they're like, oh, we get this act in here. We're giving them this certain amount of money. They had a couple of established hits, but they hadn't had anything since 2005. And I was like, really? You're paying them that much for this? I was like, oh, well, they've got a new song coming out, so we hope it's good. And I threw my phone on the table. I was like, that phone right there has over 10,000 really good songs from artists you've never heard of. But that, you know, a good song don't mean anything unless the marketing behind there.
Right.
You know, and that is the reality of the business. But to truly invest in that underground, to truly understand the music that comes through. Again, not pouring salt in anyone's hustle, but why am I going to spend $350 to sit nosebleed for, like, a Beyonce, to watch it on a TV screen, when for $5, $10, I can go down Crown Street, $30 on a Friday night on Crown Street in New Haven, you can catch 8 to 10 shows. Be real. And support those artists that need that money. That it's a matter of feeding, you know, that the musical addiction.
I feel like New Haven alone has always had a disconnect with coming out to actually support their local music. I don't know how to fix that. That's always been my mission, to try to figure out how to actually fix that. But it's just like, I mean, from the radio stations to the you know, the venues around. I mean, of course, Toast's Place, they've always showed support.
Right.
But just getting the people out.
I think the artist has to fix it.
Yeah.
I think it's the artist has to fix it. I think they have to, you know, formulate something to where they demand the attention. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's separate entities, and there's no power there. You know what I mean? Like, when you have artists that are all supporting each other, that's how we're going to support. You know what I mean?
Think about, you know, down south.
Atlanta.
Right.
Whether it's
Atlanta.
you know, hip hop or just music in general, how they ushered themselves in and had staying power for a very, very long time. Prior to that, you know, West Coast and East Coast, you know, but just being Connecticut alone, that Connecticut music scene, there's so much history here. There's so many different power players here. But again, it's always been like the crab mentality. You know, crabs in a bucket. No one wants to see each other do better.
Right.
I thought it was, you know, when we first met, you and I first met, every now and then I would get a song from you in an email, and I'd be like, that's dope. You know what I mean? It's there's not enough of that. You know what I mean? There's not enough appreciation for the fellow artist. So, I mean, your writing process, what is that like?
Well, before I get into the writing process, I actually wanted to piggyback on what you were saying right there, because, and I will fully live in my geek culture for that. There was a movie called Three Ninjas. Yeah. And Three Ninjas, they say, look, a finger, each individual is a finger, and a finger is very fragile. You can snap a finger, you can break a finger. But when you take those individuals and you put them together, you get a fist. And a fist is one of the most powerful things out there. You can, you know, use it for destruction, you can use it to help build. You know, so when you do work together, I say it on the show all the time, we only rise together. Right. And that's really what we need to move forward through going on. And it's there. That, you know, when you have acts like the Hooch, like Fat Astronaut, you know, that are out there, that are pushing, that are also going and showing up for other people's shows. You know, that was one of the biggest things coming out here in particular. Before I even started playing shows, I was showing up to shows. I was going in and building relationships and understanding who I needed to invest time in, like a Mr. Council. Mr. Council is one of the most phenomenal. I mean, his record is still in my at least once a week playlist, you know. And this is just somebody who, you know, I met at an open mic when I was on military leave, you know. And you know, his Love School record is phenomenal. And the artists that are on there, like Mark Lyon for guitar, phenomenal musician, and now he does with Fat Astronaut and Chad Brown Springer, you know, incredible stuff to move forward. So that's really what it needs to come down to, is you have to really do come together. You have to really truly connect. And Connecticut is difficult because you're sandwiched between two big markets. You're sandwiched between the Boston market and you're sandwiched between, and I hate to say Boston market. I'm not talking about a chicken franchise. I am talking about the musical market itself. And you have New York, you know. And for all those who say, oh, New York is the place to be, New York's fantastic. I'm from Long Island initially. I have played New York City a bunch of different times. I've been kidnapped in New York City. It's a long story. I don't want to get into it.
We probably need to get into that at some point. Love to hear that story.
You know, so, you know, I've played Kenny's Castaway and all these different type of venues. But what is the most important is when they come together. And coming from a scene like in Long Island, where all the venues are so far apart, you have 45 minutes to travel from venue to venue. You don't have the Crown Street, where literally you could walk from State House to Cafe 9 to Stella Blues to bar, you know, within an evening and catch a bunch of different things. So on Long Island, you know, you have 45 minutes to drive somewhere. They're going to be vested more into what they want to hear. And what they want to hear is cover bands. So it's a cover band land aspect. Coming out here and going to like Stella Blues' open mic and understanding that these were artists that were together, that were really trying to make something happen, that's what made me come here. You know, when I got the early release from the military to take custody of my kids, you know, I also, in the military, I saw a lot of 18-year-old kids come in and never see anyone any different than themselves. And that cultural shock broke my heart.
What branch in the military?
I was in the Army.
Okay. Thank you for your service.
I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody else. I'm going to hold that, but I'm also going to transfer it over to all my brothers and sisters that are still serving, because I got to go home. I got to be with my family and be with love, and they are on an island unto themselves. I'm gonna transfer that love to them, but I do appreciate it. So in seeing that, the last thing I ever wanted was that for my kids. So when I was able to leave Long Island because of courts, because you had to be out there for a year, because I'm a dad, but we won't talk about that. You know, because of the courts and different things like that, I wanted to move to somewhere so culturally diverse. I mean, I live on Norton Street. Within where I live, there's 3 synagogues, a couple of mosques, and a whole bunch of churches, you know, and my kids are able to really be in a different culture and really get to understand the different aspects of it. And that has been so huge, because I feel like that's what needs to happen. We need to be breaking bread with everybody else more and more every single day.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Just allowing our young ones to be better than we are, you know, on a day-to-day basis. With all that you just said, you know, going through the military, having custody of your children, how do you wrap all that into Behind the Brand? How do you guys bring all that together? And it seems like you're using your platform to reach out to, you know, the local artists and just people that are in the business doing whatever. How does your experience, how do you guys connect all that to build Behind the Brand? Like, what is Behind the Brand to you guys?
Telling stories, making people feel, or making our guests feel the human being side of them. And when I asked Dustin to be on the show, our main goal was to, you know, get that out there. before you highlight your business or whatever, may pursue, because everyone has a story, and we want people to believe that they can do anything in this world, like when it comes to whoever that we have on, because everyone started just like you. They had an idea in their head. They wanted to pursue something, and they didn't know how in the hell they were going to get this off their chest. And if we can show people the human side of somebody instead of the stuff you see on social media, instead of this the stuff you see like outside, because we don't want to have people have a perception in their brains that when you just look at them like, oh, I can't do this. Like, no, yes, you can. Just listen to the 52 minutes plus that we have in this broadcast about this person and their story, and you can believe you can do anything in this world. That's our goal between me and Easy when we bring each guest on.
So on the average show, like,
yeah,
like I hear what you just said, but how do you instill that into someone? You know what I mean? Like what is the format you give them to run with, to believe? Because some people don't believe that they can do it. You know what I mean? Some people don't see that idea and how big it can be and what it can turn into. You know what I mean? So what is the drive or the motivation that you give them to be the best of themselves?
It's a great question. We're very appreciative of just having them on, and also just kind of how you guys brought us on your platform. We want to make them laugh, feel comfortable, feel relaxed, make them feel like they're, not less of anybody, like we're just like them. And then they open up their stories. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, all right, you guys are human just like me. I don't have to pretend and put a fake mask on, even though today is mask every day. But you have to put a mask on all the time. You can just, all right, let me tell you what I'm about. So that's what we do. Just like what you guys did with us, make them feel relaxed, comfortable, and treat people with like kind and respect, and then we get what we want.
I want to tell you, Joe told me to get you guys drunk.
Well, word. I think I might need a fresh up then.
Joe was like, get them drunk, and then they'll just start telling everything.
I was eyeing that peanut butter whiskey though.
That peanut butter whiskey's looking real good right now.
Listen, man, that's what it's here for. Man.
It's there.
This
man.
show
it's
is
there.
not. It's
crack
not.
It open, just do
we don't have this here just for it to sit here. This is y'all to get fucked up and tell us everything, and you can tell us how you got kidnapped and all that shit. I want to hear all that shit, all that good shit.
Well, what's really
man.
interesting is actually, you guys talked about the intro. And to me, like, yes, it's fun for me. I like to have as much fun as humanly possible, but it's also that helps to bring down the walls. Right. Where I'm gassing someone up right from jump. So when they have that nervousness, and there's a lot of people who come on and they're super nervous because some of them have never done an interview before in their entire lives. Right. We just had the Black Corner on. And, there's a phenomenal store about being local and about investing in the community themselves, about taking a corner on Edgewood where a lot of nefarious things had happened prior and actually build a business that gives back to the community. Right. And they're not used to doing interviews. So I wanted to really tell them how awesome I think they are. Mm-hmm. And when they get into that aspect, they're like, oh, wow, they really, really kind of like what we do. That's awesome. The walls start to come down. All the people watching at home, Mary Poppins. It's a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So, we gas them up in the beginning, like, yes, this is what it is, boom, and then, and even in the breakdowns, like, look, we have a format, this is what we have to go by, but to me, and I always wrap it up, the most important thing is to have as much fun as humanly possible, right? And that's really the key. So when people can have that fun, they start to really show who they are. It's a sales technique. I've done door-to-door sales. I've had shotguns pulled on me doing door-to-door sales.
Keep drinking, Ease.
I'm just saying.
Keep drinking.
I'm just saying. So, but when you can get someone to laugh, you automatically bring that wall down.
Right.
And you get so many more yeses with that laughter than you're going to get with anything else.
I mean, for us, when we were starting this, we went through numerous nights at my house, just going back and forth, and then we started shooting some videos. And Joe said, you gotta give me a minute because I'm not used to being on this side of the actual camera. And I had to step back and be like, oh, you know what? You're right, because Joe and I's relationship comes from his clothing company, Street Alumni. Okay. And he's always been behind the scenes. He's always been the guy creating the clothing, pushing the clothing out there, telling people to go this way, go that way, dealing with the models, dealing with the stores. And I'm like, you know what? Even though he's behind the scenes, he's never really been in front of the camera. And I'm like, how's he gonna deal with that? And I'm like, you know what? This guy's strong. He's one of those well-rounded Scottie Pippen type players that he can just do everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Appreciate you, man.
no, it's just
Appreciate
it's just
that.
true. So like Joe and I have been toying around with working together for years.
Right.
And it's like, good things come to those who wait.
Exactly.
And it's like, this is a good thing, let's start this now. It's a great time. And he's always been, he's beyond a friend, he's a brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where that common bond, he and I can go years, months, days without even talking. And then we call each other, it's just the same thing all over again, like we never lost contact. So it was only a matter of time for us to just do something like this. And I think this is a great thing. And we're both creatives, Joe with the clothing, Joe's done the music stuff, me with the music stuff. And it was time for us to just really sit with other people, tell people what we know, and have people tell everyone else what they know.
Yeah, we want to learn too.
Yeah, it's you know how it is.
Yeah.
We're constantly learning. We're constantly creating. I still want to know your writing process. Getting back to that.
I'm sorry, I went off topic.
You did swerve off.
It's all good. It's all good. Well, it's the artist. Just you get the music.
Yep.
You don't have the music. You're in the car. The lyrics come to you. You have no idea. It's
My writing process could go anywhere.
exactly.
And there are some points in time where I am now flushing out lyrics that I wrote when I was like 16. Because these guys, again, working with Shane Penguin, these are some of the most talented musicians I have ever dealt with in my entire life.
And not to cut you off, but you guys are in.
Shout out to Shane Penguin.
Shout out to Shane Penguin. But
That
you
is a
guys are
nice
all.
story.
This is another reason why I commend you guys. You guys are in all different areas. You guys are spread up.
Well, we were. We're all actually in the New Haven area.
Okay, now.
Except Kenny's in Milford.
Okay.
But we started out, we actually met through this incredible thing that happens in New Haven called the Rock Lottery. Now, the Rock Lottery is something that's been going on for almost 12 years now, where you show up to something, you throw your name in the hat, and you say what type of instrument you can play. And then you're put in a band by random draw.
What?
Yeah, you put in a band, and you're given topics, and it's supposed to be somewhat funny, and it's supposed to be a little bit different and a little bit weird. I love weird things. Like I'm a fan of it. When you have glasses, and you've grown up the way that I grew up, weird was cool to me. I'm already not going to fit in, so I might as well have fun with it. So doing the Rock Lottery aspect was amazing, and that's where the guy who plays bass, Johnny Oz, was actually my drummer for Rock Lottery.
Okay.
And we just vibed from jump. He's from Chicago. He didn't really do any projects out here initially, so he was also brand new through here. And that's the other thing. There are now, I believe, all 4 members technically, although the drummer does do other side projects as well. We're one of the few New Haven bands that we only play in one band. That's huge. And for those who know, are like, for real, that happens in New Haven? It really is. And it's an incredible experience to have. But these guys are so talented that I can literally do anything. And it is so free. And I don't have to worry about, look, if you've come up through this industry and you've sat at the tables that people have sat at, and you're told, you can't write like that. You can't look like that. You're too heavy. You're too light. You're too pale for your sound. I have been told that. Well, we're gonna have to break your glasses.
That doesn't even make sense.
I was wondering. I was trying to process that right
crazy.
there, like too pale as to
Yeah.
like.
A lot of people are kind of shocked when I walk into a room because of the way that I sound. They're like, we were not expecting you to be as palm-colored as you are. And that's fine. I appreciate it. I respect it. But I grew up listening to, I have Blues Brothers tattooed on my arm.
Okay.
Because I remember being 9 years old and seeing a movie with incredible car crashes and learning what real music was. You know, and then to understand where you can take that heartbreak and you can bring them right to that edge, and that edge is, it's beautiful. You know, and then you get to come down together. You know, I say writing music and performing music is like being intimate with someone. I'm trying to be somewhat politically correct.
No. That's perfect, man. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think I have a hard time deciding which one I like to do more, whether it's performing or whether it's actually, you know, writing music. My writing process is just I shut everyone off. I don't answer the phone. I don't start until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then it just happens. And you know, it's the trial and error. You try this out and then you delete this. I've deleted entire songs.
Oh yeah.
And you know, it comes back the next day and you start all over again. And it's just like, you know what? I don't like any of this. And just scratch the whole entire project. You know, I get that. You know, but then I think I probably like the performance. Now that I'm thinking of that and I'm saying it out loud, I think I probably like the performance and more, because the writing process could be haunting at times. You know, so
but that performance aspect, you were completely free. And for me, performance-wise, it comes back to watching Great Balls of Fire at a young age. Great Balls of Fire is the story of Jerry Lee Lewis. And again, absolute garbage human being, but phenomenal musician. There's a scene in there where Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis are arguing about who's going to close out the show.
Right.
And Chuck Berry goes, no one goes on after Chuck Berry. So Jerry Lee Lewis says, okay, no problem. We'll play. He does Great Balls of Fire, and then he takes his Jack Daniels, and he pours it on his piano, and he lights his piano on fire. And then he finishes the fucking song. And then he looks at Chuck Berry as he walks up and goes, go on after that. And at that point in time, that was the performer I knew I wanted to be. You know, not because, you know, at the end of the day, the only person I compete with is myself. But when we're playing a live show, I want to hear from the act that goes on after me, you made it different. Because hopefully that means that I made them want to be a little bit better. You know, because we should be building. Everything should be Legos. You know?
I like that. I've had that moment where I've had people tell me, no, you're not good enough to be the headliner or whatever. And you know, you have to go in this slot. And it's like, no, wait, you're not going to dictate where I go. I'm going to say how this is going to be. Okay, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll go where you want me to go, and I'm going to shut it down. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you were around at that point in time when you guys had a beach party. Were you at the beach party?
I never went to a beach party. I heard a lot of stories.
Yeah,
we've heard a lot of stories.
Numerous stories about these beach parties.
And an artist, I'm not going to name the artist, came and said, you know, I want you to go, you know, second, third, or whatever. I want to close out. I'm like, okay, that's how you want to roll. That's fine. And we went where he wanted us to go, which he actually wanted us to go open up for him. Bad move on his part, because when we went on and we got off, everyone left.
Right.
So it was like, okay, I thought the show was over. But, you know, it's understanding your craft, being a master of the craft, and not taking that, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, I can do anything. You know what I'm saying? I'm a creative. I can do anything. You're not going to dictate to me. So, I mean, hats off to you. Hats off to your team.
Prestige, let me ask you something.
Yeah, man.
When in interviews, man, like you graduated from broadcasting school.
I graduated 2 times.
3 times.
3 times, yes. 3 times, yes.
Come on, bro. Stop playing with me.
1 time, 2008.
Stop playing with me, bro.
Catch him on the 1 and the 2. Catch him on the 3.
3 times.
3 times, bro.
That peanut butter whiskey is
go.
kicking in.
This is
It's
delicious,
good, by the way.
Keep drinking.
2008, 2011, 2013.
Yes, sir.
I did graduate 3 times, but go right ahead. I think you're about to say something.
Kevin Frazier interview.
Yeah, man.
What's up? What's up, bro?
That one was.
What's up with that?
Kevin and my dad go back They go back ever since they were in school in Hampton University.
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that story. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna freshen you up with the story. Go ahead. Go.
Yeah. All right. So, Kevin held me for the first time when I got birthed into this world.
Right.
And like I knew Kevin, but I didn't know Kevin. All right. So like I just shot a text just out random to my father. All right. Is a possibility? Can we get him on? Is it okay? Can I get him on? Because I know he's Entertainment Tonight. First,
Definitely.
black host Entertainment
Definitely.
Tonight doing his thing. Like when you look at it tonight, it's Black Run. I never would realize that as a little child.
Yeah.
You saw John Tesh and these other chicks. And I decided to text my dad. I was like, all right, I can see whatever. Father-son relationship. I'll do it, whatever. So we sent a text to Kevin. Kevin's secretary sends me a text. He's like, okay, I'll make some time for you. I was like, oh.
That's huge.
I was like,
That's big.
oh,
That nigga right now.
okay.
Instantly, the man.
I thought, you
don't know.
got like The Rock and like all these other celebrities, and then I'm on the way bottom.
Right,
and I'm
right.
like, okay, you're making some time for me. And I was like, all right, what day you want? All right, let's do Wednesday. So like I switched my schedule. I switched work
No
with
doubt.
a couple people.
Switch everything.
I-
No,
yeah,
I
you switch
everything.
Kevin's
We
raising
tried
your
shut
clear.
everything
the whole
down.
thing because I'm like, yo, this is really happening. I never thought this would happen in my life. And then like I text Dustin or Easy. I was like, Easy, okay, Wednesday night, what are you doing?
It's
He's
the
like,
liquor,
I'm doing this
Dustin.
now, and like 5, be there.
No doubt.
It happened. We did a pre-record. It happened, and
great.
So amazing.
it just happened like right off the bat. I was extremely shocked it happened too. And then like I did the edits, and as soon as I was done with everything, I just sent it out. And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Wow, okay,
Yeah.
this is my life. Because I never thought this would happen. Like, he was good friends with my dad, but if you see like your friend's kid, it's like whatever.
Nah,
but like,
yeah.
I wasn't thinking, I don't know, like it's such surreal to me. That,
Yeah,
like,
it was
that
dope,
happened
man.
off the bat.
He interacted as if you guys were family. It was really
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
It was
because
real.
like he's really close. He has like stories with me because he was there when I was like little, like me not even remembering like the stories I had. Like he knows stories like when I was in the diapers and like run around like watching Nick Jr. and all that. Like he was there.
Let me get you.
Yeah.
Let me get you while you're saying stories, because the story that your father told you
Right.
that he had to correct, and then you had to go back to your father. I wonder if you went back to your father yet and talked to him about that.
actually did that live. We did
Okay.
that live.
Okay.
We did that on the show
Okay.
because we had his
I
dad
missed that
on the show
episode.
as well.
I gotta catch that.
But what was incredible, actually, even and before,
Yeah.
but what was incredible is how open he was, and how and literally because we're doing a pre-record, at one point he's like, "Guys, I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to pay the bills." And
he
he
did
ran
do
over
some
to another
voiceovers.
microphone
Yeah, I seen that.
to do some voiceovers. I was like, "This is amazing."
Yeah.
I was like, "This is what we need to try to get to."
Right.
It was incredible to watch, and to this day, we have this philosophy on Behind the Brand of swim.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Like after that, we just started just hitting up DMs to different
doubt.
We're like, this is who we need to
doubt.
Like, we didn't
Yeah.
care.
No doubt. You gotta get it.
We get this. All right, let's shoot
Yeah,
this person
yeah,
out.
no
Maybe it
doubt,
was
no
Mount
doubt.
seriously.
You never know what's
Yeah.
going to
No
happen.
doubt.
Absolutely.
Look, it's already a no.
Exactly.
It's already a no. So it's just a matter of changing it to a yes. We've been blessed to have T.S. Monk on our show,
Yeah.
Sierra Monk on our show as well. We've been blessed because we're not afraid to be like, hey, Emilio Sparks, one of the phenomenal producers of podcasts for professional wrestling, he came on the show. His partner, Vin Forte, came on the show. And for no other reason than the fact that we were dumb enough to be like, hey, how are you?
No,
With an
actually,
Instagram message.
you were smart enough
Exactly.
to do
Right.
that. You were smart enough to do that.
Here's a funny thing that comes, full circle. Like we've been dibbing and dabbing with professional wrestling all night. Like I sent out, I have a friend of mine, works in the licensing, world.
Right.
And he says, WWE is coming into Connecticut at some point. I'm like, all right,
Right.
cool. And I just thought, I know this guy named Matt that was working as a music supervisor there. I just called Matt. I'm like, hey man, you guys coming? He's like, yeah. You know what? I'll leave you guys tickets if you want to, come in with your daughter. I'm like, okay, cool. And he was like, are you still doing the music stuff? And I said, yeah, of course, man. He's like, never mind. He's like, actually, I'm downloading some of your stuff right now. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I got a surprise for you when you get there. So he's got us set up where we've got these seats. We're sitting in, and in between, they're taping, 24 Live or whatever, or SmackDown, whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So in between, in the arena, I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is a good song. I'm like, oh, he's playing my song throughout the entire
That's
arena.
a plug. That's
Yo,
awesome.
I think
That's
you
awesome.
told me about that.
during the
That's
wrestling
awesome.
event.
You went to the
Crazy.
joint that night. Yeah.
And
That's
I'm
awesome.
like,
You
what
called
is
me that
going
night.
on?
You told me that night. I remember.
Like,
Real,
yo,
bro.
You called me that night. I
what is
remember you
going
called me.
No
that night.
joke. It's crazy
It's
to
who you
have that
know.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
You called me that night. And I'll never forget because you was like, "Yo, they playing my shit in the middle of a fucking wrestling ring." I was like, "What? What the fuck you talking about?"
Like, yo,
I was like,
what
"Yo,
is
I'm
going
at the
on
WWE,"
right
and
now?
I think you gave me the story real quick.
Yeah, I'm just
and I was like, "Yo, that's what the fuck you do."
Shout out to Matt Hannaran, man. He was just an awesome guy, man. But wrestling. I mean, New Haven Coliseum. Just the,
Rest in
that's
peace,
where
man.
wrestling was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I went to school with Dwayne, The
Yeah.
Rock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Him in middle
So
school.
it's you when he had like that little coin purse, that black.
Yeah.
He sold that shit. To him.
I'm pretty
He
sure-
sold him that. fucking,
you sold him that coin
fucking
purse.
little-
I'm-
yeah, little
I'm pretty
man
sure my
purse
boy
and shit.
Steve Boyd, no relation
Not at all.
to you, took that picture.
at all.
But yeah, I mean, it's so funny, man, how things just, a 360 thing comes around.
And that's the beautiful part of culture in particular. period.
Yeah.
The fact that, look, no joke, 10 years ago, this would not have happened. I was in a whole nother state.
Right.
I was technically in 2 other states, really. We're looking at it because I was still rocking with the military. But now we're here. And you never know what's going to happen to that next point. You never know who's going to go through. I actually, to be 100%, man, the Lakers kicking in. I was in professional wrestling school.
Oh boy.
I had studied.
That's how you got kidnapped?
No. That was because
It was The Rock kidnapped you.
I've been
Yo,
kidnapped
that's
twice.
crazy.
I've been kidnapped twice.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I've been kidnapped
Keep
twice.
drinking.
Yeah, seriously.
one.
I've been kidnapped twice, he
The
said.
next time I'm gonna
just
get up
finding
and
this
go
out.
over there.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it really is like Matt Cardona, who is known as Zack Ryder for the WWE. He's now on the independent circuit. He's now the NWA champion. I trained with him in Hicksville. Wow. Under Mikey Whipwreck. Now again, I'm 5'0" nothing.
Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey Whipwreck. Yeah, I'm 5'0" nothing.
ECW.
ECW, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not much more than a mouth. I've always been a mouth, but I can take a beating. It works out really well, and I can sell it because I've been doing judo and stuff. From those type of
taking too many
aspects.
beatings.
You guys have to dress up as the Dudleys.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
They have to be the Dudleys.
Oh,
You have no idea.
I don't.
Joe's like,
I fucking
but
don't.
who are the Dudleys?
I don't know what the fuck.
Honestly,
I'm
like-
assuming they're wrestlers.
Yes.
It's
Yeah, I
a
know.
legendary tag team.
They are a
yeah.
legendary
Legendary
tag team
They won
who have
numerous
won
belts.
championships in Japan, ECW, WWE, TNA, everywhere.
I mean, once you look up the Dudleys tonight, you're gonna go.
There you go.
You're literally you're
They are the Dudleys.
everyone at home.
To the
feel
glasses.
free.
To the glasses
to the
and
glasses
everything.
and everything. He is the Devon to my Bubba Ray. It is the best. We say it live.
that's crazy.
It's just the way that it goes.
That's crazy. You'd be like a Lex Luger. I don't know. Actually, you'd be like a Tony Atlas.
I can see a Tony Atlas.
Should I Google who Tony? Nah, Tony Atlas. I remember Tony Atlas also.
I can see him more of a
something.
Taz.
You know, the
When
old
I-
school
when I-
wrestler.
who?
He could be a Taz.
Y'all niggas just giving me
He could be a
mad
Taz. He
fucking
got the New York hat and
wrestling
everything.
names.
He's definitely a
I'm
Taz
just a
suplex
Although
machine.
Bunch of fucking
Taz's
wrestlers
son
right now.
is ridiculous.
Taz's
right
son
now.
is good.
Hook is ridiculous.
His son?
But
Like
just
his
his
son a
demeanor,
beast?
he's a Taz.
Make me his son. Fuck
He's
his
a
father.
beast.
Like, well, I gotta be him. Like,
we got
your son is
Oedipal
the
right
one,
here. We got Oedipal right here.
Yeah,
We're breaking old Greek now.
Apparently. Son.
That's funny.
Yo, tell me. Yo, I always see this shit though, and that's why I mentioned it a little earlier, but we didn't get into it. Like, tell me a little about this Comic-Con shit. Like, what is that shit? I always see it. What is that shit like? You know what I mean? Like, what is the experience like? You know, listen, you got people go to all types of shit. You got the Greek Fest, and you got I mean, like, what is Comic-Con like? Is it like a All-Star Weekend type of? You know what I mean?
I want to go.
Like,
Yes,
that feel?
yes, it is. Imagine your 10-year-old self experiencing everything all in your face. Like, I don't know how your childhood was like. Like, imagine he is still his 10-year-old self. He's still okay. Okay. So he's gonna have a great time.
I had to get him out of pajamas earlier today.
Why are you out of it? You're on camera. Be on freaking pajamas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
Crazy.
You got the
Imagine
opportunity.
that little kid
It's
inside your body,
a check there if
seeing
I'm going.
everything within your childhood, and like in New York. Like, I was invited to Comic-Con a lot of times. It was just dumb expensive. It was like $300 for a day, but like
That shit
I
like
took
Walt Disney
advantage with
tickets.
the pandemic prices, because the pandemic prices were $60 a day.
You go to New York or you go to
It
the casino?
It was New York City. It was New York City, the one I
big
went to.
one.
That
The
was
big
the
one.
big
So
one.
those
Yeah, so I was about to
real-
say how it work. It bounce around like
Yeah.
trade show type of
They're
shit.
separate entities. Is a separate company.
Yeah,
so
there's
like
a smaller one that comes here.
yeah, so
Okay,
like
okay.
people like independently make their own
Oh,
save
okay,
up money,
okay, I
make
got
their
you, I
own
got you.
company. That's why you have the one in Connecticut. But
Yep.
the one in New York, it's like they reach out to the big people,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mainstream people.
That shit is like the
and
magic to,
everything. Like,
to
this-
fashion
This
or
is the
whatever.
event where they debuted
Right,
the
right, right, right.
Ghostbusters movie for the first time.
Okay.
Afterlife, the one that recently was in theaters, they
Yes.
debuted
So
the
good.
whole movie in there. I didn't get a chance to go, but it was like a first come first serve type of thing. So I took really advantage of the pandemic prices. It was $60 a day. So like, fuck it, let me just do it. And it was just me and my two first cousins. We just went, and I had the time of my life.
That's
I
dope.
met,
That's
I met
dope.
Kel from Good Burger. I met JR and Jerry from the wrestling days. And
Did you dress up or did you just go?
I just went as normal. I just went how it was.
There's nothing
and
normal.
Did
about
you want to
prestige,
dress up?
so.
I mean, no.
Next
No,
year,
shit like that. Like, I'm
Prestige
saying,
and
like,
myself,
Yeah.
Dudley Boys, dressing up for Comic Con.
I
Absolutely.
heard you.
That would be awesome.
Well, hold
Go ahead.
on though.
Say what you have to say.
Would the Dudley Boys technically be part of Comic-Con?
Yes.
Technically, yeah.
Anything.
You had people dressed up as Kevin Nash. You had people dressed up as Zeus. You know,
So it's not just
Yeah.
like comic book shit.
No, it's
No,
everything.
I'm
it's
thinking it's
everything.
like
It's
comic book
everything
shit.
within
It's-
pop culture. You
it's
can
called
dress up as
GC.
anywhere.
Geek culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can dress up as anything.
Stormtroopers.
Oh, shit.
There's people.
There's stormtroopers walking
And you
around.
just-
Stormtroopers
everywhere.
sound
walking
like
around,
you
people
wanna
dressed
go?
up Dark Vader, people dressed up as
I'm
Blank
dressed up as
Man, people dressed up as the Men in
Yeah.
Black. Like every character you see in
Okay.
pop culture was there.
Okay.
And it was just intense. Like a whole bunch of free stuff was given out. Like you just walk around.
I wanted to
But it
know.
was really crazy.
You can wear that Prince outfit that you've
Yo,
been
stop.
hiding.
You can do that, and
Okay.
people
Just
won't
you
judge
wanna
you
go
for it
assless
at all.
chaps?
They
Just
will
tell me
no
ahead of time
longer
if I
judge
walk
you
in
for
front
it.
of
Never going to
That's all I'm
assless
saying.
chaps. Never
Just
going
saying.
Prince.
I'm just.
I mean, there was that. Never mind.
Get the fuck out of here.
That'll probably be for
Fresh.
another show on the For the Record podcast.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. That definitely.
For the record, ask this chat.
assless chaps.
There's nothing wrong with assless chaps.
Starring Ace
the right-
Geo.
Hey man, there's
Ace
nothing wrong with
fucking Geo.
assless chaps in the right
The
environment.
assless chaps series, whatever the fuck. Whatever.
I can tell you a story about Miami and assless chaps and Club Bed, and it was amazing. It is what it is.
Well, word. Now I want to hear the story.
Yo, I think I'd rather hear how you got kidnapped twice than the assless chaps. from the story.
We'll
That's-
get there as
that's a
well.
better story.
But what's really incredible is no matter what, pop culture becomes culture.
Yeah.
And if the people at home want to really understand that, Paul Revere was arrested after the third town. Yet we were raised that Paul Revere told all the towns that the British were coming.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why was because of a poem by Washington Irving. Oh, listen, my friends, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. Because it's easier to rhyme Paul Revere than Israel Bissell. Israel Bissell actually went to more towns But how are you going to make that into a poem? Like, for real, how do you rhyme Israel Bissell?
Israel was like, I did more work, man. I don't even know why you get all the shine.
Y'all got me fucked up with this.
It's kind of like you and I when I think about it. And I'm pretty sure that's why he brought this
Your
up.
liquor kicking in too. Your liquor kicking in too.
Yeah.
Yo.
Trapped.
Are you ugly trapped though?
Right. Oh, are you in the fucking closet trap? Yo, I'm just saying.
Man.
There were two doors we were talking about earlier, bro.
Now we're going
No,
back.
not the closet. Come on.
Why do we gotta be in the
And then look
closet?
at him. And then look at
Right
him.
And you know what just happened? As soon as you said that, the camera just probably zoomed in on me. I feel trapped.
No, it's one thing I like though is that you it seems like everything you talk about. I was looking at one of the episodes when you guys were interviewing Esco. Esco's my man.
Oh yeah, Edwin. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's good people.
Yeah,
Incredible guy.
I love that dude, yo. I gotta get him back on.
And it just goes back to what you guys do behind the brand. You know what I mean? It's like everything that come out your mouth is just, it relates or correlates to fucking marketing and branding. And it's one thing when you was talking to Esco, and I was checking out the interview, and it was like Esco started talking about artists marketing themselves, and you almost fucking jumped out your seat. Oh, yeah. Like no jokes, like, you know what I mean? It was just like so passionate, like, you know what I mean? And that's when I was like, I gotta fuck with them because, you know, not only are you behind the brand, you can see it. You know what I mean? You can see it. Like everything you said, it's like, it's about, so when you talk about from when you was 9 years old and your glasses, you was like, yo, I have to, if I'm gonna be, quote unquote, I'm just saying what you said, if I'm gonna be weird, you know what I mean? I might as well be the best weird. You feel what I'm saying? That's sort of borderline genius at 9, bro. That's branding at 9 years old, bro.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying?
There's a reason. Look, I'm fully tattooed, you know, and in a corporate environment, being fully tattooed isn't necessarily a good thing. One of the first tattoos I got past where you could wear your corporate blues is this one right here. And it's the Rebel Alliance symbol from Star Wars. I went live while getting tattooed with this right here. About 30,000 people watched it happen. But if I was going to say I was no longer going to be part of corporate America, I was going to rebel. I was going to have a rebel statement. And that's really the most important thing, is no matter what, 100% of the time, you need to be authentic. Corporate America doesn't like people like me. The reason why they don't like people like me is because I say this is some bullshit.
Oh. Tell them about the Diddy story.
Wait, I can't, bro.
Yes, you
I
can.
cannot.
You will not be
I
on.
signed an NDA.
Listen, this is for the record. Did you?
I signed an NDA.
You said it.
Did you?
Okay, so what I will say.
So he's not going to even tell
tell
us.
him the G-rated
Diddy was not involved in this.
Okay.
But I will say.
Yeah.
I was in a band. We were a metal band at the point in time, right? And we were called into New York City to sit down and have a conversation. And they were like, okay, this is great. What we're going to do is we're going to release your record the Tuesday. Because before it was on Fridays, record release day was Tuesday. Right. And for those the old heads that understand that. I'm just being real.
Nah, that's real.
That's real. And they would sit there and this person said, okay, we're going to release your record on a Tuesday, but you're going to be our guest for the VMAs. And he looked at me and said, hey, the first thing you're going to do, this had nothing to do with that person.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
First thing you're going to do is you're going to punch the first boy band guy in the face. It's around 2000. 99, 2000. You're going to walk out of my limousine and you're going to grab a boy band guy and punch him in the face. And that's how we're going to launch you into the world. Okay. And I said, that's fucking dumb. I'm going to be the most hated person in the history of ever. I think that's a bad idea. And I was told I did not know what I was talking about. I was ignorant and I was stupid. And I said, okay, but I am not riding someone else's coattails. Okay. So I got thrown out of an office. And when I say I got thrown out of an office, I mean, literally, they picked me up and they threw my fat ass out the office.
They did you the jazz.
The
jazz too.
Bam!
Oh,
You know? Yeah, I was fully jazzed in that type of situation. And again, I don't know who that person was because I signed an NDA. But what I will say is it happened because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with branding, when you're dealing with marketing, you're dealing with an image that is put out there.
right.
And again, coming back to Dylan, if you're going to be an outlaw, you better be honest. You know, and I have spent many times playing shows and being treated like a rock star and working at a record store. So imagine being treated like a rock star and the next day having to sell a Backstreet Boys CD. And say, well, the production quality of this CD is absolutely fantastic.
I mean, what you put out into the universe, I'm a strong believer that what you put out there is always going to come back to you. You know.
You Samuel Jackson motherfucker.
Oh man.
You kept it classy.
I tried to.
Kept it classy. So I mean, your energy is again unmatched. I think Preston has always been just amazing. You know what I mean? Anytime I talk to him on the phone, anything that we've ever done in the past, or as far as, you know, radio or whatever, it's always just been just a pleasant experience. You know what I mean? Again, what you put out there always comes back to you, which is why I think you guys are having, you know, so much success. And I wish you guys, you know, the best. You guys are amazing. You know what I mean? I'm so happy that, bro, this is happening.
Thank you.
And again, I watch.
Hold on one
Joe
second.
watch.
I have to say, Prestige is 100% in all Behind the Brand gear. Available on virtualmerchbooth.com. Feel free to pick that up as quick as possible.
Definitely.
I'm just saying.
Definitely.
I was supposed
Shameless
to be
plug.
in you know, support a record gear, you know, my manager train station, and you know, it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. We're not quite there yet. We're not quite there yet.
I can hook you up with Danny DeFore from virtualmerchbooth.com. It's fantastic. I mean, literally, I will hit this man up at like midnight.
Yeah.
And be like, I need this changed. And he fully moves over to that. And it's an incredible thing. There is, again, from the pro wrestling aspect, there is this incredible site called ProWrestlingTees.com, which allows independent wrestlers to have a full merch store. And he has taken that model and put it towards music. We were able to have him on the show.
Yeah.
From being on the show, Shane Penguin now has a virtual merch booth, and now Behind the Brand does as well.
Wow.
And he's fully in gear.
Dope. It was definitely a pleasure, man, to sit down with y'all and talk, man. It's definitely a pleasure. Before we go, though, really quick, for the record, favorite artist and why, man?
Oh wow. Of all time?
Yeah, whatever. Now, right now, whatever. Yeah,
Honestly, I listen to him every day. Childish Gambino.
Okay.
He's never afraid to be himself. That is definitely my go-to artist. Like, he really hit. He has had a similar life path I have, but as far as just expressing himself, I really relate to that. So like, I always listen to at least a couple songs of his every day. Like, he really relates to me. So
That's what's up.
Childish Gambino is definitely my top
That's what's
one.
up.
I got a
Yes.
question. Not to cut you
Go
off, sorry.
another.
I got a question for both of y'all. For the record, what do you guys want to see this 5 years from now?
I'll start off first. I want to continue what we're doing, just locally, and I don't want to do this show forever, honestly. And I would like myself and Easy to give it to a younger person, for them to make it bigger, for them to make it better.
But still home.
But still, you know,
I feel that.
you know what I'm saying? I want this to be a transition. You know what I mean? Like keep it going, but keep it in different visions and different platforms.
Still
But
have
just
ownership of it.
It just still have ownership of it. Treat it like it's yours. But then when you're, you know, want to do your own thing, pass it on to somebody else. I would like to do that. And I like to see myself and Easy still work together, but still pursue our own solo projects.
No
what
doubt.
we want to do.
No doubt.
That's just from my point of
No
view.
doubt.
It's really interesting. At first, I'm going to talk to your question. Your question is the artist that really, really inspires me, and that's Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke is one of the best lyricists out there. Sam Cooke, that Live in Harlem, one of the best records, when you can feel every fucking note.
That's why they don't expect you when you walk in the office because you.
I'm just saying, you know, it is really that incredible. So that is really the artist that I will sit back and I will listen to time and time again. And beyond the fact that Sam Cooke has become a military cadence. Like, let's be real, when you march or you run to it at 05 in the morning, you know, it's a whole different experience. But within 5 years, I want to do this full time. We are that damn good. We are literally that damn good.
You guys are great.
That we should not have to worry about paying bills because we are that damn good at what we do. I would love to have a younger generation take on Behind the Brand. I would love to be able to move forward into like breaking it down with easy. An aspect that I'm thinking about talking to musicians about a singular song and that songwriting aspect that you spoke about. Why that happened. I would love to have that. I would love to be able to just sit back and watch what has come from what Prestige and I have put forward. You know, those hours of.
That's amazing.
You know, and that's the key. The key is to make what we're doing be full time.
Absolutely.
There you have it. There you have it.
And the key is to be great. Nothing less. Exactly.
Nothing less. Behind the brand. Behind the brand.
Behind the brand, man. Thank you.
Prestige. My man Easy. We appreciate you guys coming to For the Record.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this
My
has
partner.
been Behind the Brand.
My man.
Prestige.
My man
Easy
HGO.
Blue. Joe Boy.